Let me quickly talk to you about how to get a large NoDoc business loan for a startup or a very young business with little or no sales. Don't go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sturdy Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you are to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's discussion, I want to speak to you about how to get a large no-doc business loan for a startup or a very young business with little or no sales. Step number one, you need to understand what a no-doc startup business loan is. Now, when we speak about, let's quickly compare the requirements of a standard business loan with full documentation to the requirements of a no documentation business startup loan. What does a standard business loan require? They would see the resumes of the founders, the business plan, the business credit report, the personal credit reports of all the founders, income tax returns not only for the business but also the founders, financial statements, accounts receivable and accounts payable, collateral, legal documents as diverse as business licenses and registrations, articles of incorporation, franchise agreement, commercial lists, and so on and so forth. So this list is not exhaustive. It really varies based on the lender, but overall, this is the constellation of documents that a business lender, such as a traditional bank, an online lender, or a credit union will want to see in a full documentation startup business loan. Now, we want to contrast that with what you would regularly see, what you would generally see if you have a no-doc business loan. No-doc business loans are generally issued by alternative lenders. No traditional bank, community bank, or credit union will ever give you a no-doc business loan. So in a no-doc business loan, you are only required one or two things. They're probably asking you bank statements, so 3 months of bank statements, and maybe a direct connection to your accounting software or bank. One thing that's very important here is that you are not asked to prove taxes. You're not asked to prove revenue through, comprehensive financial statements. No. As long as they have a setup to your accounting software, or they have a direct setup to your bank account, they know exactly what's going on. They can see the inflows and outflows of cash. The flip side of no-doc business loans for startups is that loan terms are shorter. You have 6 to 18 months. They might ask you for daily, weekly, or bi-weekly payments, and the loan sometimes can be collateralized, okay? And they might also want to see more deposit, like 10 deposits or more deposits per month in a business bank account. So after you understood what a no-doc startup business loan is, you need to shop around for no-doc business lenders, especially those that cater to startups. Now, big decision time. Let me ask you here. Have you thought about a no-doc business loan lately? You're probably watching this show because you're curious or you're really looking for a no-doc business loan. And the question is, why are you looking for a no-doc business loan? Is it because you can't produce the documents? Or you're just looking for, I would say, quote unquote, a relatively easier loan to get? Either way, you need to know the reasons why you are looking for no-doc business loans for your startup. Because I'm going to give you 10 players, 10 lenders that actually provide no documentation startup business lenders, but they do have different requirements. So the more you know why you want to get a no-doc business loan, the better, because then when you apply for any of those loans, you can get qualified faster. So first we have Rapid Finance, and we have scored this company 10 over 10. They provide funding from $5K to $1 million, no-doc, both no-doc and doc business loans. We have a national funding, $5,000 to $500,000. They also provide, and with this company, we have rated them 9.5 over 10. They offer both no documentation and documentation, startup business loans, and loans to established businesses. We have Reliant Funding. Our score 9.5 over 10. They offer both NoDoc and Doc business loans for established businesses and also startups. They could provide funding up to $250,000. Then we have a Forward Financing. Our score 9 over 10. They provide funding up to $300,000. NoDoc and Doc business loans. We have Breakout Capital, 9 over 10. They provide funding up to $1 million. We have Advanced Point Capital. Our score 8.5 over 10. They provide funding from $10K to $1 million. We have Edge Capital. Our score is 8.5 over 10. They provide up to $750,000 in NoDoc and Doc business loans. We also have IOU Financial, 8 over 10, funding from 10K to 600K. Unsecured finances. Our score 8 over 10, funding all the way to $750,000. And we have Clear Skies Capital, 7.5 over 10, our score, and they provide also both no documentation and documentation business loans for startups. So it's kind of cool to know what's out there, and this is why we're putting this thing here for you, just to have an idea. But if you really want to learn more, you need to go watch that full video that we produced on the subject. The third thing you need to do is you need to pick one or two lenders. If you want to get a large NoDoc business loan for a startup and or a very young company, and you want to get the loan fast, and you want to talk to a lender that knows your industry, that has approved other similar borrowers in the past, you got to be strategic. So I want to, for illustrative purposes, let's pick the first two NoDoc business lenders based on our review, and let's dissect what they are all about, what they're asking, what the requirements are, how fast to fund you, and so on and so forth. So let's focus for a minute on Rapid Finance, which is our highly rated lender here, 10 over 10. With Rapid Finance, they are only asking you three things. A form of identity validation, so your ID can be your driver's license or your passports or anything else. It could be your state issued ID. They want to have a business bank account number and writing. So business bank account number and the routing number. And they want to have the last 3 months of business bank statements. That's it. This is the only trifecta they're asking for, because they're able to analyze the bank statements and see the monthly deposits, to see your cash inflows and outflows, how you're making your money, and they can actually, and in some cases, they might ask for financial statements just to sort of reconcile the information in your bank statements to the information on your financial statements. But that's it. So with Rapid Finance, they provide NoDoc EIN only for a constellation of purposes. It can go from working capital all the way to equipment financing and other types of loans. And what about National Funding? National Funding is our second rated, most rated lender, 9.5 over 10. And here, the process is analogous. It's similar. They can finance you all the way to $500,000, and they're asking for three things also. They're asking for your tax information. If you don't have the tax information, you have to provide your bank statements. They're asking for a form of ID, and they will also ask you for some kind of a credit card sales or debit card sales, especially if you want to do some MCA or you want to do some revenue-based funding with them. And the cool thing here is that those NoDoc business loans from National Funding are unsecured, no personal guarantee, and you can use the money for inventory, payroll, marketing, taxes, and more, which is pretty good, especially if you're a startup. This is really good. Step number 3. If you want to get a large NoDoc business loan for a startup or very young business with little or no sales, you need to actually meet at least one of the 3 C's. Based on our research, the 3 C's are important. What is this trifecta about? 3 C's stand for credibility, cash, and liquidity. So let's first start with the credibility. Credibility means that if you have little or no sales and you are a small business that wants a large NoDoc business loan, you need to show experience in the industry. In other words, your founder team must have experience in the industry, and the lender can look at that through the professional backgrounds of the founders, the current ownership, whether the owners of this business have ownerships in other ancillary businesses or other related businesses. So that's for credibility. And you can show credibility through your resume, through things you have done in the past, through mentions in the media, either traditional media or social media. Besides credibility, you have to show cash. Cash is just what it sounds like. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Do you have some moolah? What is your liquidity situation? Of course, don't get me wrong. You have no sales. Okay. Do you have some cash reserves? Are the founder able to fund the business? Are the founders able to put some cash into the business? What is the cash situation? And the lender wants to look at a statement called the statement of cash flows to see the inflows of outflows. The third element is the collateral. So in some cases, the lender, before granting you a large NoDoc business loan for startups or very young company with little or no sales, they might ask for collateral. This is the case for, I would say, asset-based financing, for example, equipment financing, or you have MCAs, merchant cash advances. Okay, so those are the three C's: credibility, cash, and liquidity. Now, big decision time. Let me ask you a question. Out of those three C's, do you meet at least one of the C's? Do you have credibility? I don't mind. You have a startup. You have no sales or very, very little. You want a large NoDoc business. Okay. Do you have credibility? Do you have cash? And or do you have collateral you can pledge? Because collateral means you can pledge personal resources or business assets. You got to have at least one of those three. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. I'm still having a conversation with you about how to get a large NoDoc business loan for a startup or a very young business if you have little or no sales. Number 5, you need to get your act together. So the lack of evidence request, the lack of NoDoc, the fact that you have a NoDoc loan does not mean you run your business irresponsibly. You've got to do things the legit way. Even if the lender is not asking you for any kind of documentation, remember, in your life as a business owner, you're going to have to apply for other credit cards, other loans, other funding arrangements that do require documentation. So you better be prepared now. Do you understand? So how do you get your act together? You need to think about your EIN, your employer identification number. You get it from the IRS, and you need to put in place a whole set of processes that will solidify your EIN. How do you do that? You have to think about your business accounting. You want to set up your business accounting, whether you do it yourself or you outsource it or you hire someone to do it for you internally, or you just buy software. Think about opening a business bank account. Actually, don't think about it, do it. You need to open a business bank account. You need to think about licenses and permits. Everything that will convey a sense of credibility, a sense of professionalism around your company. I would say go ahead and do it. Think about business taxes. Very important. So when we speak about taxes, we're speaking about federal, state, and local. So employer taxes, you have sales taxes. Sales taxes they're not your expense, but you have to transfer the money that you collect from customers to the authorities. Think about incorporating. Incorporating is very important. The key word here is EIN. Don't just get an EIN from the IRS and just remain a sole proprietorship. You're not going to get a large loan amount, and you're limiting your possibilities here. And you need to divorce your personal affairs from your business's affairs. So incorporate, become an LLC, LP, S Corp, or C Corp, so you can have articles of incorporation or articles of organization, depending upon the legal structure of the business. Step number 6, if you have little or no sales and you want a large NoDoc business loan for a startup or a very young company, you need to prepare a business plan. And I'm not telling you to prepare like to go on the internet and just look for those cheap or free business plan template. Don't be stingy here, okay? No. Why do you need a business plan? Because your business is brand new or very young and hasn't generated consistent revenue yet. So you need to have projected data. You need to substantiate every piece of information you mention on the application form. So one thing you need to do here is that you need to actually find a way to create a business plan. There are several ways to do this. Okay? You can actually DIY it. You can do it yourself. So basically, the important things here is that when we speak about business plan, we are also talking about a pitch. You can have a 10-page pitch. So a business plan is the long version and a pitch is a short version. Okay, so you can DIY it, you can hire a local consultant, or you can hire a freelancer online on Fiverr, Upwork, Freelancer, or whatever. I'm going to give you quickly a list of platforms where you can just hire someone at a very affordable price. This is so important, folks. This is an investment because if you have little to no sales, you need to have something else that conjures up a sense of credibility, a sense of quality. So you can go on Fiverr, Design Hill, LinkedIn Profinder, People Per Hour, Guru, Freelance Writing Gigs, Freelancer, Flex Jobs, TopTal, or Upwork to find someone who can do a business plan for you. Or you can use business plan software. We have BizPlan, Enloop, and LivePlan. So at the end of the day, it's very important because you want to have a solid plan and you want to include projected data in your financials, right? Forward-looking statements are very frequent in business presentations, as you can see on this courtesy of Investopedia. So do not lie. You never want to lie on a business loan or credit card application, whether it is EIN only or not. Next, you need to apply. Let me ask you a question though. Very important. You want to get a large NoDoc. This is big decision time, big decision time. You want to get a large NoDoc business loan for a startup or a very young business. Up until now, have you understood the process that it takes to get the loan you need? Think about it. Do you have the paperwork? There is no documentation required, but you got to have your accounting statements or at least be ready to divulge to the lender your business bank account. They need to have access to it. Okay? So let's quickly go through the application process. Let's take the example of Rapid Finance. As you can see on the screen, Rapid Finance will do something called a soft pull. So they give you a quote. And if you like the numbers you see, you can proceed and have a hard pull and sign the promissory note. So first, if you want to get your quote now on Rapid Finance's website, just putting your information, your phone number, and your email. By the way, if you need more help, you can call 1-866-219-9971. You can do also the application online. And so you have to see what you need the capital for. We put inventory, click continue, and then you have to put your legal business structure, as I told you, LLC, and how many years you are in business. You want to specify that. The industry you're in, on the next screen you can see, you have to put the screen you're in and the industry you're in rather. If you don't see any industry that you're in, you just can click none of the below. and you got to give them information about your business revenue, right? So here we put average monthly sales of 50 grand, and they ask if you're accepting credit cards. You can say yes. And how many full-time employees you have, you can put that. And you have to put your personal credit score also. Again, it doesn't matter, but you have to put them anyway. So here we put we have poor credit, so below 550. And they're asking you another question here. What I want to see here is that they're also asking your estimated personal credit score. And we move on here. So we're giving you actually 3 scenarios, okay? So you can choose, for example, 550. You can choose 550 to 599 or 600, 649. We actually did that to see which one will actually give us the highest loan amount or the highest quote amount, but it didn't really matter. It didn't really matter. So we went back to the 550, the below 550. And you can see here that based on the numbers, Rapid Finance is telling us that you could pre-qualify for up to $71,000. Okay, so that's fantastic. So you click continue, you put your personal information, continue, you put your business information, and you click agree and continue. So we had to stop here because we don't want to spam Rapid Finance's systems with inaccurate data, but you get the gist, right? All right, folks, this is it for today's conversation. I was explaining to you how to get a large NoDoc business loan for a startup or a very young business with little or no sales. Number one, you want to understand a NoDoc startup business loan. Number two, you want to shop around for NoDoc business lenders. Number three, you want to pick 1 or 2 lenders. Number four, you want to meet at least one of the 3 C's: credibility, cash, and collateral. Number five, you want to get your act together. Number 6, you want to prepare a business plan. Number 7, you want to apply. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I will see you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.